Sides in the Shawn Diddy Combs case have until today to give answers for how the music mogul has been communicating from jail.
15 years old, and I remember him just sitting down with me, being like, this is kind of like what you got to do, Aaron, in your future. And okay, you're a grown man, and when Michael Jackson was alive, you are backing him, you are up his, you are kissing his.
When we will name names other than Shawn Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are.
Next guest just testified before a federal grand jury. He says he was in possession of a trove of digital evidence from Diddy's freak-offs party.
In a dramatic twist today, the attorney representing Scene Diddy Combs stormed out of the courtroom as new, damning evidence surfaced in the multiple legal battles surrounding the hip-hop mogul. It seems the walls are closing in on Diddy as fresh allegations and incriminating details emerge almost daily. This time, the evidence reportedly links him directly to disturbing claims in the lawsuits, which accuse him of violent outbursts and hosting bizarre, unsettling parties that reveal a shocking side of his private life. Caught in the midst of his own turmoil, Diddy appeared visibly shaken as his carefully crafted public persona began to unravel. The lawsuits paint a picture of a disturbing pattern of physical abuse, with victims now emboldened to speak out with each new revelation. The legal cases are growing increasingly ugly, and Diddy's reactions, ranging from anger to outright frustration, underscore the pressure he's feeling. It seems that no amount of power or influence can keep the web of accusations from unraveling. So what exactly is the evidence that caused such an uproar? Let's break it down. Things aren't looking good for Diddy. Despite everything that has happened, you'd think he'd show some remorse and reconsider his actions. But instead, he shows no signs of guilt, only frustration that he was caught. Even after his home was raided, the world already knew what he had been up to. But it seems he didn't care until the consequences hit home.
They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large-capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles all.
Federal prosecutors have accused Shawn Diddy Combs of breaching jail regulations in a calculated attempt to manipulate witness testimony and influence the potential jury pool in his ongoing legal case. According to a court document filed on Friday, these allegations suggest that even while behind bars, Combs has been trying to control the proceedings, raising concerns about his conduct during detention. The 55-year-old music mogul, facing serious charges including racketeering, trafficking, and facilitating crimes, has pleaded not guilty but remains in custody at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after being denied bail. The court deemed him a potential flight risk and a threat to the case's integrity. His legal team has filed motions to secure his release and request a new bail hearing, but prosecutors have strongly opposed these efforts, arguing that Combs' actions while in custody only reinforce the need for his detention. They claim that he attempted to obstruct justice by interfering with witnesses and trying to sway public opinion about the case. These accusations have added further controversy to a case that has already attracted significant public attention, with debates about accountability in the entertainment industry and the reach of Combs' influence. As both sides prepare for the next phase of the legal battle, the stakes remain high. Prosecutors are determined to hold Combs accountable, while his defense team continues fighting for his release. The court's response to these developments will likely be pivotal in determining the case's trajectory. Prosecutors allege that Combs has been engaging in prohibited activities, such as paying inmates for phone accounts to circumvent federal prison regulations and using three-way calls to reach people not approved on his contact list. They claim that a review of recorded calls revealed Combs instructing his family to contact potential witnesses and push specific narratives on social media, aiming to influence public opinion and the jury pool ahead of his trial in May. These actions, according to prosecutors, represent a deliberate effort to obstruct justice. The revelations have intensified the legal spotlight, casting Combs in a troubling light as someone willing to manipulate the system, even from behind bars. His attempts to secure bail have been further complicated by these new allegations, which underscore his disregard for rules. As the trial approaches, questions about his influence, power, and the justice system's response are at the forefront. In a related development, Combs' children posted a video of themselves singing him happy birthday during a phone call, which prosecutors argue was part of a broader strategy to shape public perception. The filing suggests that Combs closely monitored the post's engagement metrics, discussing with his family how to maximize its impact. Prosecutors contend that the goal was to create a positive narrative that could influence potential jurors. In response, Combs' defense attorney argued that the government had violated constitutional rights by possessing privileged materials and conducting outrageous actions, claiming Combs was the victim of a due process violation.
Is that not a fair outcome?
What he did here is on a magnitude of unlike anybody else you could imagine.
Many people are shocked by the audacity of Shawn Diddy Combs' actions while behind bars. Despite being in federal custody and facing serious charges of racketeering and trafficking, Combs appears to be running full-fledged campaigns to influence the media and tamper with witnesses. The fact that he is allegedly orchestrating social media posts, contacting potential witnesses, and attempting to shape public perception while incarcerated has left many stunned. It's almost unheard of for someone in his position to have such control over their public image and case strategy, especially while detained. The scale of his influence, even from a prison cell, is raising serious concerns. People are left wondering how far he's willing to go to manipulate the system. His actions seem to reflect a deep sense of entitlement, as if the rules simply don't apply to him. The idea that he could be interfering with the judicial process and attempting to sway potential jurors or witnesses while locked up has many questioning how the legal system will address such blatant disregard for the law. Although some of the prosecution's evidence has been redacted, what remains paints a troubling picture. For example, excerpts from recorded calls between Combs and his adult son allegedly reveal a calculated plan to pressure victims and witnesses, either forcing them into silence or coercing them into providing favorable testimony for his defense. In one instance, Combs is reportedly heard instructing his sons to dispose of any and all evidence.
Not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Okay.
These revelations strengthen the argument that Shawn Diddy Combs is actively obstructing justice while in custody. Prosecutors argue that his alleged actions, violating prison rules, tampering with witnesses, and attempting to manipulate jury sentiment, underscore why he should remain in federal custody as his May trial approaches. These allegations not only complicate Combs' legal defense, but also further damage his public image. With each new filing, the case paints a picture of a coordinated effort to undermine the judicial process. Prosecutors stated that no conditions could adequately guarantee Combs' lack of flight risk or threat to public safety. They also raised concerns over his emphasis on 24/7's private security, noting that he has shown an uncanny ability to manipulate others, including employees, family members, and even inmates. This led to the denial of his bail request, marking the third failed attempt by his legal team to secure his release. On November 27, the court ruled that releasing Combs under any conditions would compromise community safety. During the hearing, Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, proposed an alternative, relocating Combs to a Manhattan apartment under strict monitoring by a private security firm. Under this plan, Combs would have no outside communication except through his legal team, but the judge sided with prosecutors, agreeing that Combs posed a unique risk to the integrity of the judicial process. Combs will remain in custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where he has been since his arrest. Agnifilo cited a similar case involving former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO Mike Jeff, who was granted bail despite facing serious charges, suggesting that a strict release arrangement for Combs could address the court's concerns. However, prosecutors argued that Combs' actions while in custody, including contacting potential witnesses and victims, made him a special risk. Prosecutor Christy Slavic stated that Combs was trying to pay his way out of custody, obstructing justice and endangering the community. Prosecutors strongly opposed the conditions proposed by Agnifilo, especially the involvement of a private security firm, arguing that Combs could not be trusted to comply with the rules. In response, Combs' lawyer, Alexander Shapiro, insisted that the birthday post shared by his children was innocent and pointed out that his social media activity and public statements were protected by the First Amendment. She argued that the strict conditions would prevent Combs from interfering with the case, but the prosecution disagreed, believing these measures were insufficient to protect the community or ensure a fair trial. The court's decision to deny Combs' release highlights the seriousness of the case, and as the trial date nears, it may be best for Combs to remain behind bars, especially given the troubling allegations that he has been influencing witnesses and even engaging in blackmail.
Times when Kim lived on 70th something street, and I would go upstairs with Diddy, you could hear in the hallway, and I would just shake my head when he come out or whatever, and Kim would be in the house. And it's always about where she was at or who she was dealing with.
The revelations surrounding Shawn Diddy Combs' actions while behind bars have raised serious concerns about his potential for further manipulation if released. Prosecutors worry that his ability to influence and intimidate individuals, whether through social media or tampering with witnesses, while locked up, could escalate if he were granted freedom. If Combs can orchestrate such efforts from prison, it's terrifying to think of the extent to which he could control the situation outside. The fear isn't just about legal tactics. It's about the safety of the victims and witnesses involved in the case. The decision to keep Combs in custody may seem extreme to some, but given his alleged actions, it seems necessary to ensure the integrity of the judicial process. If allowed to be released, there's real concern that he could continue intimidating or manipulating those connected to the case, putting the entire trial at risk. The concern over Combs' behavior extends beyond legal manipulations. His history of alleged violence adds an additional layer of alarm. A widely circulated video showing Combs hitting his ex-girlfriend, Cassie, in a hotel lobby raised significant red flags about his violent tendencies. The public nature of the incident, where Combs acted out aggressively, suggests that his temper is not confined to private spaces. This troubling history fuels fears that if released, Combs could escalate his behavior and use violence to control or intimidate people, especially in the high-stakes environment of his current legal battles. Moreover, a new lawsuit filed by fashion designer Brianna Bonagolin has brought additional serious accusations against Combs. The suit claims that in 2016, Combs dangled her from a 17th floor balcony during a confrontation at the apartment of his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. This new allegation adds to the growing list of lawsuits against Combs, which include accusations of drugging individuals, threatening witnesses, and causing physical harm. The lawsuit paints a disturbing picture of Combs' behavior and raises serious questions about his potential to manipulate or intimidate people from behind bars or worse if released. According to the lawsuit, Combs became enraged and confronted Bonagolin on the balcony, allegedly grabbing her and lifting her off the ground. Despite Bongolin's desperate attempts to resist, Combs allegedly dangled her over the ledge, leading her to fear for her life. The situation reportedly escalated when Cassie Ventura intervened, but the alleged violence continued. Combs' legal team has denied the accusations, maintaining that the lawsuit is baseless. However, with multiple lawsuits and accusations, the public and legal system must assess the truth behind these serious allegations. Bonagolin, who is seeking $10 million in damages, describes a pattern of intimidation and abuse that characterized her interactions with Combs. She alleges that from their first meeting, Combs subjected her to ongoing terror and violence, leaving her fearing for her safety. While Combs' representatives stand firm in their belief that the accusations will be disproven in court, the mounting legal challenges and troubling claims about his behavior leave many questioning what he might be capable of if given the freedom to act outside the confines of jail. The case is far from over, and as more details unfold, it will be up to the legal system to determine the truth and consequences of these serious charges.